Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2019 Summer Promotion Tournament for the LCK. I'm Atlas, this is Papa Smithy, and we might make it off broadcast in time to watch some AFL, Papa Smithy, because this one's going real quickly.
It is roaring back into the stables. Is this best of 5? But there's going to be some changes to this particular game. Malrang will be subbing in for C's. Remember, Kellin came in game number 2, didn't really change anything. Malrang comes in, replacing C's. Hasn't been cited very much in the second round robin after being one of their better players in the first round robin, and it will be a secondary swap. The Master of Zed title might be up for grabs as Zed or Bed BDD takes on ChenGo, actually playing mid lane after playing a bit of top lane at times in the season.
Yeah, really messing with some things, even playing top lane champions in the mid lane, if you remember back to his mid lane Kennen.
And he played a Zed game.
And he did play a Zed game, so we'll see whether ChenGo does have the right to go back to the Zed, or whether it is going to be stolen from him by BDD, and we're going to find out very, very quickly, as even though we've got subs, we're moving into pick and ban right away.
Zooming into the new Riot Games logo for this new best of 5, and for KT fans, they will be hoping for a new dome. Hasn't been a kind 2019 so far, and Jin Air say, can't deal with this bloody Zoe, and they just ban it away.
Well, what it's been is Jin Air getting beaten by stuff, then banning it, and changing their bans, whereas KT have just been banning exactly the same things over and over again. Jace going to be banned here, now that Jin Air moves back to the blue side. I think there's no doubt in my mind that Tamkench, Rise LeBlanc will be the bans here for KT. They did ban the Lucian, that was one adaptation in game number 2. But Rek'Sai is going to be the change up for this.
Feels like, I don't know if this is KT wanting Jin Air to first pick Jarvan, or wanting to take Jarvan on the red side in trade for, say, a first pick champion leave open. Rise, for example, likely to be first picked by Jin Air.
Yeah, Galio as well has been picked
consistently,
up first
right?
Both times, yeah.
But with Malrang in the lineup, the one thing we can say about Malrang is his aggressive picks look the best. His Xinjiao, for example, looked really good in the first game they played of the season. And he has those one-off picks, like the JAGs that you're mentioning, Atlas, that have kind of been his trademark through his career. So you could understand first pick Jarvan with Rek'Sai banned, but you could also, because it's Malrang, not be too worried if they go Galio and give Malrang one of his traditional picks later in the draft.
Yep, see whether they do that. Looks like Jarvan is going to be the hover and the lock-in, so despite the fact that they had that on the table, they decide just to lock in the secondary jungler alongside the Rek'Sai. KT now have the opportunity to lock away the Galio themselves, and will do so very quickly.
Smeb hasn't updated his summoner spells yet, so maybe we will be finding more and more opportunities to use words like canter in the second draft. We'll wait and see.
Yep, more horse facts available. Papa Smith there to do a bit of a shout out on Twitter, and some of the horse facts that I've got haven't been exactly the best. Zenit's going to try his hand, though, on the Kalista, and Kalista Galio certainly the upper echelon of Kalista lanes.
And with BDD, you never know if it's going to be flexed into mid lane. One of his career highest win rates was that Galio mid lane for the longest time. So, Jin Air Greenwings, how do you want to play is kind of the obvious question. Now, if you don't want to show any information, you take your duo lane here. Braum Varus is available.
Braum Lucian also available.
Yep. Braum Lucian would be the strongest fighting lane. Not sure I love it in this spot, though, and ChenGo is going to at least hover the Zed, which is in his contract, I'm sure.
Yeah, and he doesn't have a smile on his face. The coach just told him that he wasn't allowed to pick it yet.
Yet is the operative word. And the reason why I didn't go with Braum Lucian is, I don't think you try to out-early game Kalista Galio. I think you try to find a different way to approach the lane, so I thought Braum Varus, or I guess Tamkench is banned, so Braum Varus would be the way to go. Instead, we see the Vayne, so it is definitely taking some scaling, but it's a squishy champion who needs some time to warm up her Rage Blade. Akali pretty good at forcing Vayne to have no one to auto-attack by zoning her out the back of a fight.
Well, we'll see who's going to be playing the Akali, as now we've had Smeb with a great performance earlier on in this series, and BDD with a fantastic performance 2 days ago. So KT with a very true flex from both their solo lanes.
I saw Umti in the back after game number 2 and asked him to play Kayn. He instructed me that, unfortunately, a bit like in other regions, only an anti-Sejuani pick, but I wanted to leave it out there for everyone to know that I have asked for the Kayn. Umti will not be on Rek'Sai Jarvan duty because Rek'Sai's banned and Jarvan is taken. Hopefully we see something awe-inspiring rather than something less inspiring.
Yeah, I hope that 9.8 we see a bit more Kane, because those shadow buffs seem pretty exciting, being able to shadow step almost all the time.
Umti wants to get this 3-0 and actually play in the game to beat his old organization and firm that spot for KT in summer season. Smeb still hasn't changed his summoner spells. Do they just lock FLICKR into the Zenit pick because they need a top laner and a jungler, and Hecarim can do both?
That actually sounds like a really exciting idea. I hadn't even thought about it just yet, Papa, as the insta-lock Talia is going to be a no on that front, and Umti's going to be taking that one, most likely. Where else do you put Talia is the question, I guess.
BDD is a godlike Talia player.
Yeah, can still put it in the mid lane.
Because it's BDD, you know, there's a couple of Talia players where you're like, this guy's great on this pick.
Yeah.
I don't want to give it, but I agree with you that Hecarim last pick seems very likely for KT. Jin Air should probably
still
know
be
that.
the case, right? Like,
yeah.
All right, well, Jin Air, the blind pick, is going to be coming in once again for the top side, and it's going to be the Aatrox here for Lindarang. Now let's round it out. We've got a mid laner to be opted in for.
Normally it's boring frontliners like Lissandra, right? Just to have a frontline for the Vayne, but it went so poorly and you don't know the matchup that I think they might be priced to go elsewhere. ChenGo in the lineup. Not going to blind pick Zed, it looks like. Be pretty hype if he did.
Well, the Azir could come in, and now with a Talia jungle and a magic damage top lane, you can do a whole lot of different things against this Azir.
See what the call is from KT, offering some
Teemo.
different stuff. KT have played professional game of Teemo before. That was Someday in 2016. It was a loss. We had a week
that was a mistake.
2 mistakes in a row, actually.
Yeah.
CJ did it as well. Shy had to play top lane. Teemo as well. A lot of flex opportunities, a lot of things to consider. It is going to be the BDD Talia, like I mentioned, but that means we're going to have a jungle Lee Sin.
Yeah, and we mentioned it earlier on, Umti is an absolute beast on this champion. I think he had a 30-plus KDA in the Casper Cup when he was playing Lee Sin only, and didn't spend a lot of time in the main role of jungle for the regular split. Score was here for the majority, so we haven't been treated to too much Umti Lee Sin so far.
And on this day, I really like this flex. I'm not usually a big fan of Akali versus Lissandra. So yeah, Akali versus Aatrox in the top lane.
Yeah.
But remember game 1, where the mind games seemed to extend to item builds, and we didn't see Lindarang flex on what can be a very nice laning matchup against the Akali. Why not roll it back? You got away with it once. Get away with it one more time. You're done and dusted. You're down home for that early dinner, and you're in LCK Summer 2019.
Exactly, and they've got 3 match points to do it as well, guys. So KT, they can experiment as much as they want with the drafts here in game number 3, because there are buffer games, but you can't really afford to give your opponent momentum in best of 5s. We've seen so many reverse sweeps just in general that I think that you need to, even if it is Jin Air that don't feel like they're playing very well, you don't give them inroads. So this is something that KT definitely wanted to do to put that final nail in the coffin. We'll see whether it's good enough.
Right now, it feels like KT are on another level to Jin Air. Not a huge thing to proclaim, but still a surprise with how the year has gone. What a year it has been. 2 proud orgs of the LCK, KT and Jin Air for the LCK era, have been there since day 1. Still looking likely both might still be there, but only one team can cement their spot today. The return of happy tidings of 2017 and 2018 for BDD. He jumps back on one of his global champions, the Talia.
Yep, exactly right. So expect a lot of mid-game shenanigans with people being able to turn up in the nick of time for KT. See how it goes here in game 3. Okay, and here we go. No horses this time around. We've got a chicken in the mid lane.
Yay.
Pigeon. You got pigeon facts for us, Pop Smithy?
Well, we got an SKT T1 skin.
Yep.
And it's actually a shout out to a player that we saw very recently.
Yeah, actually, I recently congratulated Easy Hoon on the fact that, like, this is definitely his skin. And I was talking about defending him when people assume that it's fakers.
One of his last things he did on SKT was earn this skin on SK Telecom T1. Did Easy Hoon. We saw him at the spring finals after party. He was there hanging out with Bang and Hooney and some other guys who are around. We already saw 100 Thieves in the audience today as Aframu, Bang, and this crew are here. So it's kind of something that makes sense. Kenzie131 on Twitter tweeted out that Arrow's here as well. Of course, another favorite son of the KT org. A lot of players with long standing, a lot of players on break with the regional breakup now. If you're not going to MSI, you got some time off. So good to see some favorite sons of the LCK around.
Yeah, and it's really cool seeing so many people gravitate to career as well, because so many players have moved elsewhere, want to come back and visit family, but also then boot camps for MSI as well. So we're in a pretty good position to hang out with some of the players from around the world at this stage of the year.
First pick of the year for BDD on the Taliyah. Mostly a jungle pick, and honestly it's not really a pick in any lane throughout the course of 2019, but BDD was always a pleasure. If I think of BDD on Longshu Gaming when they were one of those red-hot favorites for 2017 Worlds, it was BDD Galio, BDD Taliyah, and his ability to link up and use the global and roam timings effectively. Taliyah and Lee Sin, if they show up first, they show up with damage, CC, and a lot of playmaking. So let's see. Because so far, I thought Umti's linked up with his lanes well. He's not here at top lane, though.
Yep, and Smeb doesn't have the Shroud available, so has to use the Flash, in order to get himself out of the way. KT with the shove on the bottom side of the map, but it looks like ChenGo is doing okay in the mid lane. He's taken Comet, which is real interesting because we've seen so many different runes be taken on the Azir. That is going to be the fourth in only a few weeks' time that we've seen. Hail of Blades, Lethal Tempo, as well as the Electrocute that we saw on the weekend.
And in competitive, we've seen Unsealed Spellbook at least once in history, so a very flexible champion when it comes to rune choice because every rune does something different. If you're going to be BDD from 2 days ago sitting over the wall in a late game teamfight, you want Lethal Tempo, right? To put out maximum damage with those soldiers. Hail of Blades can be a nice burst rune if you can stay in range for those 3 autos. The thing that Comet gives you is the instant health trade, right? Where you Q, never get into, say, W range, seismic shove range of a Taliyah, and just keep that health bar never full. Always within potential range with your jungler. So every rune does something. We'll see if ChenGo plays to it or if it's just a fallback for him.
All right, now, BDD, that's a lot of Bs. BDD is going to skate his way back into this lane. ChenGo gets one of those Comet procs that we were talking about. Umti doesn't find any avenue to gank. Lane in a good position here for ChenGo right now as Seismic Shove is going to just toss ChenGo through the pebbles. Feels good for BDD, but at the moment, I mean, ChenGo's just happy farming underneath this turret and is also happy that he doesn't need to venture out too far into Umti's waiting arms.
I just sat back and realized that a great subtitle for BDD's career retrospective might be Through the Pebbles.
Yeah.
It actually works on multiple different levels. Great Taliyah player. He's had some ups and obviously some downs recently.
Yeah.
He had the CJ Entus, which of course is his career starting on a lull after being a player super hyped as the next coming in FLICKR. Doesn't have that full legacy yet. You know, BD's pretty good, and this series, he's been in red-hot form.
He certainly has, and it's great to see that the BDD that we know and love from 2018 is back, and as we say it, that's actually cast a blessing here in the mid lane. Lands another seismic shove of the ChenGo.
We don't do a lot of cast a blessings, so.
I know that. I think I just coined that phrase because it's never happened before.
It's very easy for us to count them. It's one.
Yeah, that's how many that's happened. We've cursed many, many times.
Now, Lindarang, I want to see if he just builds Hexdrinker again and gives up a Corfield's Warhammer first back. I must admit I wasn't a big fan, even though it is safety first. Mid lane, Malrang saying I'm going to help push.
Yep,
it's
and
not really
BDD
working
not
that
going to
well.
care. Still trying to stop the back here from ChenGo. So Smeb into the Shroud, looking to put some abuse onto Lindarang.
So the sound that comes up when you, I guess, register your passive, doesn't it sound like another League of Legends client sound? The like re-sound that you saw.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Smeb might actually be dead here. Doesn't have flash, remember, but there's the backflip, not enough, because Lindarang still has his F button, and that is going to be the matchup that we wanted out of Lindarang after his performance on the right.
And press your F buttons in respect. Into the Death Chamber goes Smeb. Solo kill for Lindarang. He got close to it in game number 1. This time, he just straight up does it.
Yeah, the Shuriken backflip wasn't enough to get Smeb out of the way this time because the flash already on cooldown. Great play here from Lindarang. And does go back to the Hexdrinker, but this time it's a win more item rather than a salvage item.
Definitely is something that we're a little bit surprised to see, but now, with his summoner down, there will be a summoner advantage for Akali and a huge mobility advantage with our kit. He'll have Hexdrinker to tank a gank. As we watch the replay, and remember, he was 1 Q away from this solo kill in the previous game. The moment at arms, Smeb knows that sadly, he's dead.
Yep. Lindarang can tank up the turret just fine. Things are okay. Fans in the audience really excited to see the Lindarang that we saw 2 days ago make his way back here onto the stage. And it's not too late, but it feels really late.
I read that fans smirk as a get dunked smirk, so I appreciate that. As Kellin walks up, Jin Air, you know, felt really out of the race in games 1 and 2, but find another good moment. Remember, they got that 2v2 kill in the laning phase in game number 2 as well. Yeah. There has been some salvaging moments for Jin Air, even though KT, as the game has kind of crested 18 to 20 minutes, has always been in a comfortable lead.
And they've got new blood across the board here as well. I mean, the majority of this Jin Air squad was not the team that got completely demolished in game number 1. Yes, it wasn't close in game 2 either, but now with a couple of extra changes, maybe this is how they're going to move their way forward. And for the first time in the early game, they do have themselves a lead, and BDD just missed a cannon minion. So, looking okay, Jin Air.
And he's being cooped up in lane. You never want to share Azir's lane forever and ever. As Atalia, you want to get your roaming on. Umti almost level 6. A lot of burst and ability to traverse the map. Once that gets going, Malrang setting up a tent. He does like tents, we've learned.
He does. From
LCK Spring, or we should have been reminded of. But for now, at least, no inroads there. Just going to be a blue buff transfer as Azir puts down a coverage wall.
Yeah, Lindarang on his Aatrox. Spots out where Umti is. Means that the rest of the map can play a little bit more aggressively. Jarvan nowhere near any of the lanes though, so not able to play too far up, and KT just straight up don't care about whether there's junglers present, because they're smashing this bottom lane matchup. It's not feeling like game number 2, this is more like game number 1, with what SnowFlower are capable of.
Vayne is more about getting a chance kill when you make a mistake on the aggressive side than actually being the aggressor in the early lane. So, Halo Blades, Kalista, 2 turret plates, soon, got it!
Got him. 80 gold apiece. And 2 turret plates this early is pretty ridiculous as BDD loses out on that trade, even though he does find the flick onto ChenGo.
Yeah, ChenGo, if he's fighting with the minion wave in front of him, never has to worry about losing a trade, even if he gets shoved, because the rocks are just going to be whacking into the front line. That's why we say that Talia's team fighting, if there's a strong enemy front line, she can't actually do damage to the back line, because apart from the shove, she gets it blocked by tanks. In this case, the minions tank it up, and ChenGo pretty comfortable in the laning phase so far.
Yeah, just chilling at this point in time. The Lee Sin is waiting around the area. We'll be able to deny some chickens potentially. Is okay, ChenGo gonna miss it. The flash there from BDD is going to be traded. And that is a lot of buttons now on cooldown here for Jin Air, but at least they get the flash out of BDD.
Play into that lane camp. The lane camp doesn't get anything, and Umti comes in first. Remember, Ignite is BDD summoner.
Yeah,
here we
there's
go.
The kick flash. BDD tries to find the shove, but does have the Cataclysm available. Q lands. Not quite enough. I thought if Umti had possibly refreshed that red buff, it could have been a kill, but doesn't go aggressive.
Yeah, Conqueror primed at the end. If he had QR, it would have killed, but he didn't have R. He'd already used it, and he, of course, had no flash, so it's too risky to go further there. I believe it would have been Q2 autos, and then you're just taking too much turret shots and die. So he's going to go bot lane and continue to profit on these turret plates.
Yeah, exactly. That is 3 plates already down, possibly 4 as Umti's already there. Not a lot that the Jin Air squad can actually do. As Zenit, is he going to stick around? The answer looks like no.
And I'm going to actually kind of be a bit too particular with this comeback, but the squad would intimate that the jungler would actually potentially play bot side. The fact that the camp has been mid lane for so long, they've given no help at all, and close to Galio getting the demolish procs off cooldown on the Galio because the Jarvan wasted all his time mid lane and got no inroads.
Well, Umti going to come on over here, spots out that this Rift Herald is being done, but with the control that Jin Air have at the moment, it should be taken. Umti still wants to go for it. See whether he can get into smite range. It is very, very low. I believe the Q did land, gets on over. I don't know who actually managed to steal that one as Malrang moves on over, gets the knockup, but is going to hit the death chamber. And there we are, the gargoyle's in, and ChenGo just says, get out of my face, Smeb. You can take the kill of Lindarang to try and get some revenge.
Lindarang does suicide to pick up the Eye of the Herald, but that's always going to get. They're waiting him out. They can give it to whoever they want. Let's see who they give it to. Surely.
Oh my goodness, he turned it around. It is Smeb that locks up the kill, but that was just sloppy play from KT.
I may be your papa, but don't play with your food, kids. What we're learning from this one. They played and tried to pass it off to the opportune person, to Smeb, to get to the gunblade faster. Playing with their food got them into trouble. This all became a contest. The Rift Herald Eye was hit, and they actually fell below 2,000, so there was no ability to burst it from 2,000. They have to give it to Aatrox, and he has to die to pick up the Eye of the Herald, but he actually gets the trade kill that should never have happened.
Yeah, Smeb invests a whole lot to try and get over there. I believe held onto the flash, so that's okay. But Umti just walking up here, it's really not what you want. Actually comes back into the queue. That was really strange.
It was that awkward spot where they wanted to hand it to Smeb easily, and then they realized they needed to do more damage to the Aatrox, and then it was 200 health. Lee Sin inting into his face, so they try to do too many things at once. It's too greedy. It's playing with your food. Unnecessary from KT.
Yeah. Doesn't really matter, though. They are going to be out of lockdown the second Drake of the game, and even though the kills are even, it is a pretty big advantage now for KT. Rift Herald can be utilized. Possibly could even go down towards the top side, and that's exactly what Lindarang is going to do to grab himself some more advantages here. Top side of the map, no gunblade just yet here for Smeb. It looks like he is going to be heading towards that ASAP. No knock up here for Malrang. B2D throws some pebbles at him. Q lands, and the stopwatch has to be used. Flag and drag on cooldown. Cataclysm the only option, but Malrang finally does get out. SnowFlower turns up first though, and Umti, he's very low, but it doesn't seem to matter. That's a great use of the blast cone and the tumble there from Root to get him out of harm's way, but still had to use the flash.
Exactly. In the trailing fight after the initial action, more summoners are used by Jin Air than they would have wanted to. Smeb still doesn't have the gunblade. No transfer wasn't playing, as we know, and the bonus Hex Drinker means that Aatrox is continuing to trade very nicely. No meaningful CS lead. Aatrox with a couple of kills. Turret isn't dead yet, but they're still actually turret plate gold. We're only 13 minutes in.
Yep, exactly right. This should be the turret finished off, and that last plate claimed as Umti's going to make his way down. They could have just focused this turret. Still got a couple of slots there in the demolish, but SnowFlower not wanting to overextend. They didn't know where Malrang was. Playing respectful. And that last turret plate on the bottom side is going to go begging.
After timeout, maybe, just maybe, they can super hard push this lane and take it. Everyone's coming to join. Weaver's wall is up. We could have a party in the bot lane, and we'll have to wait on the invite list.
Yep, Umti's speeding down there. The Cloud Drake helping out there as well as Weaver's wall is going to come forward. He jumps off, and now they've trapped the Braum and the Vayne. This is the one they prepared earlier with that flash being down. Turret falls, and the Vayne's going to follow.
You just never hit the ground. They were up in the air and then dead. Nice move from K to get the bonus kill. Azir, even with Nashor, still not able to push and punish, and no turret plates at this timer to be able to take on this roam. BD walks up, misses the shove, but I feel like he's shoving Jin Air as a team, the proverbial shove, rather than the literal one.
He's having a lot of fun. Doesn't really matter whether ChenGo's going to be hanging around there at all. He's 1-0 and 2. He's already had the early games that he wants, and they've made sure that Azir has the early game that they want him to as well. 0-0-0, unable to affect the map, and KT are just going to win around him.
Awkwardly, the item timings as these plays were happening were better for Jin Air. They had full Nashors compared to building blocks for the Talia. They had a nice item lead at top, but now we return to seeing the crimes. Speaking of crimes.
Yep, that's going to be 3 people trying to smash down Lindarang. He does have the World Ender, but I think his world is the one that's under fire. Unfortunately, second charge of the ultimate's there for Smeb. B2D picks up the kill with some rocks that he throws at the Aatrox. 4 members top lane for KT, this might be the turret.
And if you just kind of close your eyes, Atlas casters, and think back to 2017 with these kill delivery systems of BD first roaming everywhere, it feels like Longzhu again.
Root being dead.
Yep.
Basically.
It just feels like we're seeing the Longzhu gaming squad that was so domestically dominant in that season. Here's the all-in.
Yeah, ChenGo looking for it, doesn't actually find any value. The Fates Call timing was stunning out of Zenit. 4 versus 3. KT were the ones playing aggressive at the end of that engage.
But pop goes the threat because the Fates Call makes you that instantly untargetable. Don't normally talk about that timing. It was beautiful. They don't lose anything, and they still want more.
Yep, exactly right. Now Zenit, he's almost 50 CS in the lead over this Vayne Root. Nothing that he can do. No summoner spells. Kellin's got an exhaust, but that is about it. Seismic shove just to zone. This should be the turret falling on the top side. Once again, KT obliterating Jin Air.
Jin Air might already be mentally preparing for another best-of-5 on this stage on Sunday. They'll face the winner of the Challengers Rebirth match tomorrow of good old VSG versus the ES Sharks. Who knows what that series will hold given their power levels a couple of days ago. But Jin Air, their best shots just aren't enough. KT are brushing them off in game number 3, and they might be going softly into the night. But tonight, at least, we're going to watch the replay topside. Level 10 to level 10, but it's the backup that was big for KT.
Yep, Smeb with a little bit of a stun there, but honestly it was all about SnowFlower holding them in place and Zenit having easily enough damage to help take down this kill. BDD, KS moving towards the top side, but that guarantees as many assists as possible. That's all she
Thankfully,
wrote.
it's kill secured in our vernacular these days. The kill steal day is mostly behind us, although when you see a Taric or a Morgana with 5 kills in support, you're always a bit like, come on.
Yeah. Have you noticed as well that even in solo queue, not a lot of people complain about KS as anything?
Yeah.
It's actually really cool.
It turns out the game's 10 years old.
I don't know, I felt like that one was going to live on forever, to be honest.
Although if you watch the kind of unranked challenges stream, you still see it sometimes. Yeah. It's largely gone, but still in the vernacular. Speaking of vernacular,
yeah, ChenGo's dead. That's the vernacular that we need for this particular opportunity. Zenit just takes him out with the Ren. As you were saying.
He's going to take down Cloud Drake. Yep, as you mentioned, great boilerplate kill there. Very, very straightforward. A lot of burst. Gold lead being completely thrown on to the members of Jin Air feels cruel at this point. 17 minutes in. The 3 Drakes taken are conspicuous by the amount, but not, of course, the type.
We do have an Infernal that is spawning in about 5 minutes' time. Reset on the Brambleback as now KT move on into the enemy jungle. Smeb's hanging around this area looking for Lindarang, but just wants to guarantee that Umti can steal away this red buff, and Jin Air, they want nothing to do with it. They know that they are really far behind and need to be playing as defensively as possible, holding onto their structures, trying desperately to hold on to this game.
And they decided to go for the Azir, which is more scaling towards the late game, and not quite a mid lane Scion when it comes to peeling for a Vayne, but can do an impersonation with the ultimate. Sadly, that's all later story, and the current story is that later ain't coming. 2 items on Vayne is looking tricky for Root, who hasn't been able to get going in this game number 3. ChenGo coming the most defensively way around, but here's the wall.
Yep, BDD's going to turn up. Lindarang is being held out of this fight as they take down the turret. Fight on multiple fronts, but Umti, he's out of there. Lindarang trying to fight 1 versus 2. But elsewhere on the map, Talia's already got 1. SnowFlower going very low, but the silver bolts, he can't find the last one, can Root. And Jin Air find nothing.
They use the Unbreakable to stop the wall from swinging them up, but unfortunately it's still, like you say, a couple of skirmishes happening at the same time. They put down the Zoe impersonation of a turret, having the sand turret come up, but that's just temporary. It's just fleeting, Atlas. As KT go back with another sack of gold in their pockets. Unbreakable used to stop the wall, but sadly that means not there for damage. And KT right now are Death Reapers, it feels like the Shinigamis with all the damage they have.
Yeah, precisely. Even SnowFlower able to Fate Spall his way forward. I think he tanked a turret shot, but straight up didn't care, just wandered away after getting those knockups, getting the CC down. And if this is what a KT teamfight looks like, I just don't know how Jin Air find their way back into this game. Seems like they can just take control of the tools that Jin Air have picked out for themselves so comfortably with this composition.
It's about the tools, Atlas, to me. You look at the Azir items, the Vayne items. When they read 3 each, I'm talking about Banshee Veil and then some AP on the Azir, Rage Blade, and then whatever you can get as the next item, and then just find a way to be a frontline. But if you notice, the frontline here is much more situational. Something like the Emperor's Divide, something like the Jarvan going in, and it seems like a one-way trip, given that it is Warrior Jarvan and not Cinderhulk. Usually when you see Vayne, you're 100% certain that it's going to be Cinderhulk Jarvan, but unfortunately this game we're not going to see that. The Braum and the Aatrox can again do impersonations of tankiness, but right now that can only be done on a budget, and they haven't got that budget. Feels like they've been cleaned out, and they're working with the Dregs.
Yeah.
And with the Dregs, you don't win team fights, so I think you put that all together and say, kind of waiting for KT to choose the time. They're the Babe Ruth in this scenario, pointing to where the home run is going to be at the moment, and it's only going to be more gold being injected. If Jin Air wake up at 50,000 gold and KT aren't 10k ahead, sure, there's a chance, but 50k is a lot more than 30k.
Precisely, and at the moment, Zenit is an entire item ahead, gold-wise, of his opponent, and literally on this map, so it's going to be a very long time before parity is actually reached. And KT, now that the Baron has spawned, it's been alive for a minute, they will have complete control over that area. And I don't know how Jin Air actually approached that pit when there are so many things that KT can do. To get them out of there, Justice Punch lands onto Kellin. Unbreakable's going to help him stay alive.
We're going to have to beat a dead horse here, because it's actually even worse around the Baron, because they have Weaver's Wall to stop the predictable 2 entrances you have as Jin Air, and you have the secure of a Kalista Ren alongside an over-leveled Smite. So you actually kind of have everything except a true tank, and SnowFlower's got enough gold and armor to tank for a while. So your Baron, secure, turn, burn, everything is close to S+ tier, where S is probably across the board, and you're behind as Jin Air, so yeah, it does feel like beating a dead horse, because right now, the moment they decide it's about Baron, Jin Air kind of have to wilt and just acquiesce it to the side of KT.
And at the moment, KT are just setting themselves up for it. They are well aware that that's exactly what their composition can do. What was Taliyah jungle picked for? Single target damage. She rips through the jungle so incredibly quickly.
She's had the old school 650 bounty with the 350 being registered. So, yeah, MVP of this game, according to the bounty system, is the Taliyah, largely because of killing. It's not going to be a pure farm bounty by any means.
Nope. KT still not starting anything up as there are confused pings going over towards that Baron pit. Zenit actually wants this one. SnowFlower flashing in, looking for Rupert. He has the flash in order to get him out. Zenit also going to trade his as Lindarang. He's in the bouncy castle. He's going to get taken out before the ultimate can even get used as Root tries to find Smeb, but Smeb's in the shroud. Another taunt from SnowFlower. Jin Air members are just falling left, right, and center. ChenGo trying to stand his ground, but he's underneath his inner turret, and KT have their eyes on Baron.
LS in the chat today, not in the car, so we don't get the full Avengers Zero of Pantheon Taliyah, but with Avengers coming onto our screens next week, we get one of them, and it feels like BDD has been watching some Marvel films because he glides in, bursts down the burst, and this is BDD in rare form.
Absolutely amazing. He has certainly been my MVP for this series, even though he just missed his seismic shove. That is just making sure the rest of the team can take down this Baron. They'll do so with ease, as SnowFlower is the one that's going to be tanking it up. And the Infernal Drake is going to be taken on the other side of the map. This is Cake, eat it too, take a photo of it, post on Instagram, do all that sort of stuff. Absolutely brilliant here from KT, and there has been no question throughout this entire series, apart from this Infernal Drake being reset, that they would win. They have never let that door be opened at all.
And I'm reading the Yelp review of that meal, and I'm thinking about eating it too. That's how good it is, Atlas, the review.
There seems to be a lot on offer.
The high-res photos are pretty important. We're going to watch some glossy photos of the previous fight, if you want to call it that way. Lindarang just didn't seem to predict BD coming in, so didn't know. That's a bit of a whoopsie moment, and from there, the wallet smacking emote is definitely proverbial in this case. They take down everyone where they stand, and they take an S-tier Baron team, and they make it an S-tier everything team.
Yeah, an S-tier murdering Jin Air team is what it feels like.
The Bless RNG, I'm not sure which side it's on. It seems to be on the Jin Air side.
That's some sad faces for the Jin Air fans, and we know that there's a lot of loyal ones out there, not just here today, but also watching on.
The KT fans, we saw them doing that kind of Bless RNG stuff for many years, right? And finally got over the line. The Jin Air fans, sadly, have been always avoiding relegation. That has been Jin Air's positions. Their third relegation tournament. They still have not made playoffs as top side.
Yeah, he doesn't have Q, but Malrang doesn't have his life. And that's bad news. Zenit now fates call, good double knock-up. Justice Punch lands as well. That's the double kill. BDD grabs one, Emperor's Divide, just to get them out of the way, but Zenit still wants more. The turret smacking onto him does have himself a stopwatch and a GA, so there was no way that he was going down, and the base is going to be broken. Lindarang has to come back because he can't deal with the Akali, and the rest of his base is being destroyed.
It's definitely a lesser catharsis moment, but a couple of days ago we saw Teddy leave Jin Air and become LCK Spring 2019 champion. There's certainly an air of it being on the nose that Umti is in the lineup for all 3 games, and he's been one of the reliable reasons that Jin Air today will not slow down Umti's return until LCK Summer, as KT Rolster feel like they're minutes away from registering this spot.
Yeah, we really didn't see all that much of him during the regular season, but like we mentioned earlier, the Casper Cup was the domain of Umti and some pretty fantastic performances in the earlier matches. We're going to see this fight one more time, and Malrang, this is about all he can do as the Warrior Jarvan at this stage. He needs to try and come in and cause a ruckus. It's just not enough.
If you're going to go Warrior Jarvan with a team that needs a frontline for Vayne and Azir, super good late game team fighters, you have to make it work early. And he was sitting on a jungle enchant for a long time.
Yeah.
The moment you get nothing done and you're a level to 2 levels behind the enemy jungler, you go Cinder Hulk and you dive in there and you die slowly. It's all Jarvan can do. Not a KDA champion by any means. If if you go Warrior Jarvan from behind, you don't do anything.
No, you just die. Unless you, I guess, pick up a GA very early, but he hasn't done that, as you can see. He's building towards it, hasn't got it just yet. The Kindle down being a little bit frustrating. KT do have a siege minion here towards bottom side. Smeb is setting himself up to be a nuisance and stop Jin Air from having all 5 on the defense. With Baron buff for another 7 seconds. Should be able to get through this one all too easily once that is worn off. But they are going to do so. Jin Air just couldn't stand up to the weight of Jin Air's wallet. Sorry, of KT's wallets as they smash down their second inhibitor.
I mean, their wallet's so thick, if you're their friend, you're saying, don't you want to like, leave some cash at home or something?
Yeah, exactly. You're getting frustrated that they're not paying for every meal that you share together.
They have a 13,000 gold lead and the Inferno, which is like a buy one, get one free coupon. They've got both.
Zenit's got both of the swords in the shop as well. Look at all these swords, man.
That used to be an item build.
Yeah.
There used to be a double BF sword item.
Yeah.
Long time ago.
Yeah, what was it? I can't remember. I can't remember the name.
It definitely did happen.
It did happen once, and it was gone very quickly.
It was. But you know what? He's bringing it back.
He is. He's going to try and buy it. I mean, he will buy it, but maybe the game will end before he can actually complete the item. It's a secret one. You can't actually see it in the shop's black market of Runeterra, I believe.
That was like, was it Infinity Edge for a bit?
I think it might have been after like one of the changes,
it
one of the
adaptations. It has to have been IE, right? Because nothing else was like a million AD and Vamp.
Unless it was when one of the items was just like ridiculous. At a point, I know, you know, Black Cleaver, of course, has been lots of different items over its time.
So Black Cleaver, I wonder how many of our viewers remember when Black Cleaver was BF Sword Dagger.
Yeah.
For armor reduction per order.
Yep.
Long time ago.
Very strange. And KT are now looking for the fight. Fate's Call does come in. It's more of a zoning Fate's Call. They're looking for the final inhibitor more than anything else. It's respectful play here from KT, but it's still decisive. And the base is in tatters. We're running out of turrets to take here on this map. 2 Nexus turrets. There's the flick onto Malrang. He's burning down, and Smeb's going to shoot him to death with his gunblade. Nexus turrets falling. Umti looking for the kick flash. Actually, his kick's route out of the fight and into his own fountain. That was a whoopsie, but it doesn't even really matter here as Smeb has a shroud well and truly inside the base of Jin Air. They are getting torn apart. The Talia eventually falls as finally there's a kill going over to ChenGo. He gets a double, but does get paid for in the end. Zenit is the one to trade that one in as Lindarang. That Hex Drinker's not looking like it's enough to deal with Smeb. As in goes Umti. He's now on the base, and he's dead. Oh, yeah. Thought he was dead. Definitely is, and that's going to be the Nexus falling down. KT with the 3-0 over Jin Air. Felt like it was going to be that way after the Game 1 performance, and it certainly was. And
when you're 13,000 gold and an Infernal Drake ahead, there are no mistakes in how you close it out, just happy accidents.
I don't know, if you were watching Umti, I'm going to put that down as a
Come on, he went golden in the fountain. It's a happy accident there. It is Atlas, and that means that KT Rolster will try to beat Bob Ross about playing in the relegation tournament and try to remember it as a happy accident. That's only possible now that they've swept 5 games in a row. They are out of the relegation tournament. They are the first team to advance to LCK Summer 2019 to join the top 8 teams of LCK Spring. Take a bow, KT Rolster. You still have a lot to work on to make other teams look like you did Jin Air today, but all you can do is beat the team in front of you, and we saw some of the signs of the KT team that we thought we might see in spring, but were denied.
Yeah, BDD and Smeb really stepping it up, and I really enjoyed watching Umti play, maybe apart from the last couple of seconds of that, but it didn't actually matter what had happened. He was just excited that he'd managed to take down his own org and found some redemption here on this Lowell Park stage. Haven't found too many good moments as Jin Air going to be packing up and getting ready to play for their lives on Sunday in that final elimination match. It will be against either ES Sharks or VSG, whoever wins in the match tomorrow.
They got some breathing room. They get to watch on tomorrow as VSG and ES Sharks fight for that final spot. They get that grace day off on Saturday to try to work out some plans and maybe even to fully decide on the roster. I'm not convinced with Malrang coming back. I think that's an experiment too far. I think ChenGo and Grace probably have to just base on scrims, right? But there can't be too many teams scrimming at the moment, so that's not going to be the easiest thing to work out. not quite sullen faces from Jin Air because it's the winner's match today and not an elimination match, but unfortunately, when you lose the winner's match, you're reminded that the entirety of your future rests on just a single best of 5.
Well, now also KT get to perform that mental reset. They have a little bit of extra time, and they can feel happy that it didn't look close in any of their matches here in the promotion tournament. And you got to hold on to anything that you can possibly get. And KT Rolster is never a name that you would assume would even be close to the promotion tournament. The fact that we're in that world is insane, but the best thing is that they didn't make it look like they deserve to be there.
They were not relegated after being champions, but
yeah.
The only thing I'm going to really, as I guess kind of a hard taskmaster in this particular time is to think about it from the Australian word. We added bounce back ability to the dictionary 10 years ago. We're going to need to see some bounce back ability from KT because nothing other than contending for playoffs, which is again contending for top 5. It doesn't feel like, we're not saying win the whole season without roster change. That's seeming very unlikely, but they need to bounce back and not just be out of it by week 5, right? That's what KT's, I think, litmus test is going to be. The dream of Worlds is not dead yet. It is a possibility, but they're going to have to find some circuit points or do some winning to get anywhere near it.
Yeah, exactly right. They're going to have to win something in the summer split, but being in it is exactly the first step. So what I want to see from KT is more of what we saw here today, is understanding that they know what the strengths of all of their lanes are and being able to play around that. Because here was a solo kill from Lindarang, but the rest of the map was able to build around the fact that Smeb was struggling a little bit and was able to really get themselves into this game in a good way.
And I'll be honest, I think the worst part is, Atlas, I think KT knew that, but their strengths just never seemed to happen on the same day. It was like a double rainbow situation, because for all the picks that had nice stats on websites and we could remember being big, the Smeb, Score, who was not playing today, and BDD, it didn't seem like we saw the efficacy of those picks at all in the regular season. So unfortunately, we kind of have to be those analysts you hate and be the, okay, well, what have you done lately about KT? That's what we approach this tournament with, because KT have the names but not the runs on the board. There are some runs here, but we won't see them again in a real match until LCK Summer. They're gonna have to re-earn our trust. They earned the ability to re-earn our trust. If they went down and were relegated, then there was no trust again.
No, and also we wouldn't be seeing them again, so there's no even point in mentioning them, and I know it'd make a lot of people way too sad to even talk about it. KT has so many fans. As Jin Air do as well, but they're not going to be in the same position. It does look likely that Jin Air should be able to fight their way back into the LCK, I think, if we're going to compare the teams afterwards, but still, this is not the performance you want to see.
There's just no way that ES Sharks and BSG can play like they did 2 days ago tomorrow when they play in a best of 5.
Yeah.
Their levels individually were really, really poor, and there's a lot of tape of both those teams being pretty good in challenges, especially ES Sharks, who were standard, but standard win lane, win game, not just lose everything. So I'm going to hold my judgment. I agree. Based on performance level 2 days ago, Jin Air should walk over whoever wins tomorrow. But I just can't see that being the team, barring just some really unrealistic expectations come Sunday.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. Well, we'll see how it is going to go. ChenGo had actually a decent performance. You know, he managed to out-damage the Talia at least, and did get that double kill to try and get things done at the end, but that was a warrior job, and he did less than half the damage that Umti put out on his Lee Sin.
Feels like a warrior that got lost on the way to the battle.
Yeah. Yeah, he stopped off at the service station for some snacks, and unfortunately got out of the car a little bit late.
He showed up with snacks, but unfortunately his team was dead. It's quite morbid.
And he
not
then
actually
had
something to laugh about.
The snacks were stolen and taken by the opposition, and then they ate them.
You know, you say stolen. Given that he was camping, I think he actually dropped out of his pocket on the way.
Oh no, it was an accident? So he can't even claim that they were taken from him?
I mean, he tries to tell you that, but I saw it. He dropped the snacks.
Like, that's his story, but we've got it all on tape, unfortunately. Oh, man.
It's hate to see it.
You certainly do, but you do like to see KT back in the LCK. I don't know what LCK looks like without KT. I'm sure a lot of other people don't. I'm sure it has it even happened, Papa?
No.
There hasn't. There hasn't been an LCK without KT Rolster.
But there hasn't been an LCK without Jin Air either.
네, 오늘 승자전에서 승리를 거두면서 잔류를
See whether they make it back in.
확정지었습니다.
But for
KT
now, we'll throw it over
감독님과
to Jason
선수
for
전원과 함께 이야기 나눠볼게요.
Thank you very much,
안녕하세요.
guys. We're going to be hearing from the KT Rolster's head coach and also the whole
네,
squad from
일단
KT
잔류
Rolster.
먼저 진심으로
Congratulations
축하드리고요.
for
또
staying in
최정용
LCK for the
감독님
summer
저희 처음
split.
뵙는 건데,
This is first time having you here, head coach O. So how did you prepare for today's series?
승강전이라는 무대를
Well,
보게 됐는데
We
거기서
have come down to the promotion series.
선수들이 부담 없이
I just wanted to make all the
재밌게
players
해줬던 부분이 굉장히 좋았던 것
perform
같아요.
without any pressure. I'm really proud that they did so, and also they're really confident. So I'm really proud of them.
수 있을 것 같아서
I think we will be able to show this kind of performance in our upcoming summer split.
네, 오늘 LCK 팀과의 대결이기 때문에
So this was a
부담감이
game
있었을
up
거라고
against
생각을
an
하는데
LCK
오히려
team, so that
경기력은
could
더
have been more
안정적이었다
pressure.
이런 생각이
However,
들었고요.
you guys were performing very consistently.
사실 스프링 시즌 때
Well,
이제
to be honest, in the spring split,
문제점에 대해서 이제
we
보완만 하려고 하다 보니까
just
이제
kept trying to
점점
kind of build up
경기력이 좀
upon
더 안
our
좋아졌던 것 같아서
weaknesses. So I think
이번
that kind of worsened our
승강전에서는
performance. So today, this time at the
보완하기보다는 우리가
promotions,
이제
we
잘할 수
didn't
있는
want to
부분을
just
좀
like
더,
overcome. We just wanted to like
챙겼던 것
play
같아요.
around the
그래서
strengths that
경기력이
we
좀
got.
좋았던 것
So I think
네,
that
맞습니다.
was the main
자,
reason that we were
팬분들께서
able to
이제
perform even better.
시작이잖아요. 서머 경기력에 대해서
Well,
많이 궁금해할 것 같고
A
어떤
lot of
전략이
fans are
있는지도
having
궁금해하실
a bit of
텐데요.
more expectation around you guys for the summer split now on. So how are you going to prepare for the summer split?
지금처럼 이제
Just like right
선수들이
now,
잘할 수 있는 부분을
We
조금
just
더
want to emphasize some of the strength that players got. And
적극적으로 이제 선수들이
just
잘할 수
wanna
있는 부분을 좀 더 밀어줘서
also
이제 그
like
부분을
focus on the
활용해가지고
strengths of the
우리가
players, all the strength they got.
할수
So,
있는 잘할 수 있는 모습을
so we
저희가
just want to
더
keep
빛나 보일 수 있도록
playing
그렇게
around
준비하고
some of the
네,
power that we
알겠습니다.
got as a
승강전
players and as a team.
결과를 토대로 더 멋진 모습 보여주시길 기대를 하겠습니다. 네. 자, 스맵 선수
네.
얘기 나눠볼게요.
Moving on to Smeb, as a captain of your team, you also, I guess you also felt a lot of responsibility, right?
사실 오늘 긴장이 너무 많이 되더라고요.
Well, to be honest, I was really nervous.
팀원들에게는 또
Well, I
잘
didn't tell my
미치지
teammates,
못하고. 근데 오늘 또 경기에서
but
팀원들이
in
너무
game,
잘해준 것 같아서
our players did
팀원들한테
so well.
좀
So I just want to say
네.
thank you to all my teammates.
지난번에 2대0, 오늘 3대0.
2-0 and today 3-0. Did you expect this perfect
저희가
score?
연습에서의
Well, during the
어떤 경기력이
practices,
굉장히 좋았기
well, our
때문에
performance was
연습
really
경기력만
good.
나온다면
So
네,
if we
3대0
can
할수 있을
execute
거라
that on the competitive games, I knew that we were going to pick up a 3-0 victory today.
가야 합니다. 정말 시작인데요. 각오 들어볼게요.
So how we're going to prepare for the summer split?
스프링 시즌의
During the spring
성적이
split,
그렇게
our
좋지
result was
않았는데요.
not that good.
끝까지 이렇게
However, I just want to thank all the fans who have been showing all the love and support throughout the good and the bad. And I just want to make it up to my fans, showing better result and performance to the
네,
fans.
여러분 박수 부탁드립니다. 자, 이번에 엄티 선수는 정말 약 2달 만에
엄티.
선발 출전이에요. 또 부담감 있는
It
경기에
was about 2
친척팀과의
months
대결이기도
gap since you
하고요.
played as a starting jungler. How did you prepare for today's series? Well, instead of pressure, I felt I was a little bit excited that I was able to play on competitive games, and also I was playing up against my former team, Jin Air. So I think I was extra passionate about this preparation.
사실 요즘 기세가 굉장히
However, there were a lot of expectations around Siege as well, and Malrang also subbed in. So were you prepared for both junglers? Well, the way I practice is just, well, actually, like, I just solely focus on my own play, not my opponent's. So I wasn't really too bothered.
선수의 동선을 읽는 듯한 상대의 동선을 모두 막아내는 그런 플레이가 인상적이었습니다. 엄티 선수도
And
서머
Umti,
어떻게
how we're gonna
준비하실지
prepare
들어볼게요.
summer split?
이번에 스프링 때
Well, during the spring split, our result was quite bad, but I'm just gonna do my best, and also I just wanna do my best to reach up to the higher place with
네,
score.
선수와 함께 든든하게 KT를 지켜주시길 바라겠습니다. 자, 그리고 BDD 선수
Then
오늘
let's move on to the
솔로
mid lane,
킬도 여러 번
BDD.
내면서
You
정말
picked up
자신감
consecutive
높아 보이는
solo
모습
kill
보였고요.
today
연습할
overall.
때
You looked
컨디션도
really
정말
confident.
좋으셨나요?
How did the preparation go? Well, recently in the solo queue, I had good feelings, and during the practice as well. So I was performing really well, and today I didn't feel really nervous. So I think I was able to perform really good. You looked really calm as well. Well, I have been down here in the promotions once. Well, I actually got relegated, you know. So this is my second experience in the promotion series. So, well, I was a little bit excited. And so I wasn't really nervous at all. So I think I was able to perform at my best potential.
미드 조이 파괴력이 오늘 엄청났어요.
And your Zoe was destroying everyone, and it got banned out in game 3. So is that Zoe being so good, or you are the OP?
일단 리산드라 조이 같은
Well, in terms of Lissandra versus Zoe matchup, I'm really confident.
그냥 잘 됐던 것 같아요.
That's why I did well.
선수도 서머 때 어떻게 준비하실 생각인지
Lastly, how are you going to prepare for the upcoming summer split?
스프링 시즌에 되게 안 좋은 모습이 많았었는데
Well, we were really underperforming during the spring split, so we just want to get rid of all the bad plays, and I just want to come back with improved performance.
BDD 선수 감사합니다. 그리고 제니트
Thank you very much,
선수
BDD,
안녕하세요.
and let's move on to Zenit.
네, 저 이 자리에서 처음 뵙는
This is
건데요.
first time
오늘
having you
어떠셨나요,
for
경기요?
LCK interview. How was your performance today?
다들 형들 잘해주셔가지고
All my teammates, all my
그냥 편하게 했던
older
것 같아요.
brothers, they were doing so well, so I was
네,
feeling
제니트 선수 오늘
comfortable.
부담감이 그 어떤 선수들보다 더 컸을 것 같아요.
Well,
네, 경기
I
시작
think you
전에
could
어떤
have had
식으로
a
마음
bit of more
다잡으셨는지
pressure
궁금해요.
on your shoulders, right?
형들이 계속
Well,
자신
before
있게만
game,
하라 해가지고
all the teammates told me just be confident,
자신
so
있게
I
해서
just played confidently.
잘 됐던 것
So
같아요.
I think I was able to
네,
show great performance.
대답 로봇 같아요. 네,
That was kind of a bit of a
마시고요.
robotic
자,
answer.
제니트 선수 오늘 상대
And
루트 선수가
Zenit.
굉장히 공격적인
Well,
스타일이었는데
Root
어떤
is
식으로
also a very
대비하셨나요?
well-known player as being aggressive, right?
그럼 박수 한번
Please
부탁드릴게요.
give a warm round of applause for Zenit.
그냥
Well, just
연습했던 대로
like I
하라,
practiced,
하라 해서 연습했던
they told me
대로
to do as you do in your practice game, so I just
잘
did
풀렸던
so.
것 같아요.
So the game went
네,
well.
눈꽃 선수에게 여쭤볼게요. 제니트
Let's.
선수
I think we have to move
어떻게
to
준비하셨나요?
Zenit. SnowFlower. How did he do in the practice games? Was Zenit in practice games? Just like his talking?
자신감이 좀
He
없는 친구 같아서
is very lack of
자신감을 많이
actually a
가져-
confidence.
가지라고
So
감독님이
we always told him to
말씀해
be
주셔서
confident.
선수들은 이제 긴장하지
Don't
말라.
get too nervous.
이런 식으로
So
준비했던 것 같아요.
yeah,
네,
that was the focal point of our advice.
제니트 선수를 잘 다독여줬다고 생각을 합니다.
I think you were taking
자,
good
제니트
care of
선수
him, right?
자신감
And
있게
Zenit.
서버 각오 들어볼게요.
I want to hear some confident word about the summer split.
들어가면
Well, in the summer split,
더
I
열심히
will
성장한 모습 보여드리겠습니다.
show improved
네,
performance to my
감사합니다.
fans. Thank you very
더
much,
좋은
Zenit.
모습으로
We'll be looking
인터뷰할
forward to your
때도 자주 뵀으면
performance and
좋겠다는
also your
생각이
interview in the
드네요.
upcoming
다시
summer
한번
split.
잔류 축하드립니다. 자,
And
그리고
lastly, let's
눈꽃
hear
선수
from
얘기
SnowFlower.
나눠볼게요. 와, 눈꽃 선수도 부담감이 심했을 것 같아요.
You must
준비
have
어떻게
felt a lot of
하셨나요?
pressure, right? How did you prepare for today's series? But personally, after joining KT Rolster, well, a lot of fans are criticizing on our weakness in our bot lane. So I just want to get rid of our weakness. So me and Zenit worked really hard. And I think it really showed up today on competitive games, so I'm really happy and satisfied. Yeah, a lot of people said that the teamwork in the bot laners have gotten a lot better, right? Well, the head coach just said that for today's promotion series, we really want to play around our strong points, so that kind of worked out really well today. So, SnowFlower, how was the spring split overall, and how we're going to prepare for the summer split? Well, KT is a team of a summer split, so I just want to show the original KT roster of summer split to the fans. And I just want to be a bot laner or bottom duo that loses up, never gets defeated by any other bot laners. It was a very rough journey for the KT roster, but you guys are the first team to remain in LCK. So lastly, Smeb, how are you going to prepare for the summer split, and a last message for the fans?
네, 이번 승강전 준비할 때도 그랬는데
Well,
좀
during our
서로를
preparation, we
신뢰하고
tried our best to trust each other, and it really worked out really well. So at the summer split, we just want to keep it that way and group up as a team, and we're going to prepare as hard as we can. Well, we had a lot of hard times in the spring split. However, all the support from the fans really helped us out a lot. So we just want to make it up to my fans, showing the great result to the fans.
네, 사실 팬분들의 마음이라는 게 잘 될 때나 좀 어려울 때나 늘 든든하게 지켜주시는 분들이니까요.
So,
팬분들께 꼭 좋은
I
모습으로
also want to see you guys performing well in the summer split, and thank you very much for this interview, and also congratulations for today's history. Thank you.
감사합니다.
The KT Roldter secured their spot in LCK, and I'm going to pass it back to our casters. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ji-san, for the interview translation. And guys, this is it for me for a few weeks. It's going to be Brendan Valdez. It's going to be bringing you the rest of the promotion tournament. He will be crowning the last remaining LCK team. And you know, I'm gonna chill, I'm moving house, things like that. Got some plans, but otherwise not too much until LCK comes back on again.
And we'll be boys of summer in LCK Summer. I was actually struck by the point that was raised by SnowFlower, that if you think back to history, KT's run in summer seasons is finalist into winner into finalist into into finalist 2 years in a row. 2 HP meme in 2016, into not representing in the 2017 final, into champions last year. And we almost had the Kings of Summer not even qualifying for Summer.
Yeah.
That's the reality we lived in until we get the confirmation today that KT Rolster will have a chance to actually make it to Summer against Jin Air Greenwings. They were just too good today. Very, very one-sided series. We've actually only had we've had 7 games go in one direction. We've had no fightbacks in series just yet. VSG versus ESS, that's the next match played by, like you mentioned, those 2 challengers teams and casted by Brendan Valdez tomorrow. Really unsure what to make of it, with the fact that both teams would want to come back for a bounce back tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. And I actually feel like Jin Air are probably going to have a rougher time in the final best of 5 as well, because it's yet more experience for these for these squads on this stage, and the pressure is going to be less and less the more games you have. So Jin Air will have to bring their A game in order to take down one of these 2 teams. We'll find out who it's going to be tomorrow. But for now, that's going to be it from us. Good night, everyone. See you next time.
You take me higher when I feel low, make my world brighter when I'm alone. I keep on rolling, all with your fuel. You're like my gasoline that makes my dream come true. Make my sorrow silly.
수고하셨습니다.